Harriet Tubman. I am ready, and I'm excited to talk about Harriet Tubman right now. And let's actually watch a small cartoon about her, because I found something that I thought was pretty cool, and I would like to share it now. Now, I know it's a kid's cartoon. The thing is, though, I like stuff made by kids, and sometimes because it breaks down the simplest formula here. And so what this portrays right now is, like, this little clip is almost everything you need to know about Harriet Tubman. I mean, not really, but she had just got her freedom. So she's a runaway slave, right? And she had got her freedom, and now she's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She's at, in essence, what you could call a stop in the Underground Railroad. And listen to this. Now, I'm going to have to pause some of this because I'm just going to pause some of it every 20 or 30 seconds, and I hope that helps with certain matters. All right, so let's check this out. This is cool.
Welcome to Philadelphia, Miss Tubman.
The last man who sent me on, he told me to come here.
This is where we keep track of everyone who makes it to the north.
We're sort of the main station on the Underground Railroad. Notice the Underground Railroad has many routes, stations, and conductors.
You mean these are all the ways a slave can come north? We gotta tell them. Someone's gotta let the people know how it works.
So it's pretty cool, the Underground Railroad. You gotta wonder, if you were alive then, and you were of the majority persuasion, would you have been willing to operate a stop on the Underground Railroad? To me, whoever is doing that, that's the most Christian people in the society. You know, people operating stops, because a lot of white Christians at that time basically had a moderate and mild view of race relations and slavery. That was really not a biblical view. And you see this, and you start to think about it. Harriet Tubman had got her freedom. She could have went to freedom in Canada. What's up, D-New? Or wherever. Usually it was Canada. Why? Because of this Fugitive Slave Act that they enacted, which is a disgusting piece of legislation. That what it said was that folks would come from the South and grab folks from the North and make them slaves again. And there's penalties against cooperating. So you get in big trouble for operating stops on the Underground Railroad. Well, listen to what Harriet Tubman says about this.
Unfortunately, it's not that easy.
Just got a message. There's a family that's gonna be sold. The father's name is John Bowley.
Dear Lord. John Bowley's my brother-in-law. My sister Mary's husband. I'm gonna go back and bring out my sister and her family.
Go back? Harriet, thou art free.
I'll never be free till my family is too.
So the selflessness of Harriet Tubman is absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Now, listen to this. Listen to this. This is cool. And this is a snapshot. It's a cartoon, obviously, but this is a snapshot of what really happened and what Harriet Tubman really did.
I realize that now. I want to be a conductor.
Harriet, conductors just move people along. They don't go in and bring them out, especially if they're a runaway slave. It's too dangerous.
You're trying to scare me, Mr. Steele, but I don't scare easy. I'm getting my family out.
That is all you need to know about Harriet Tubman. Hold on, I'm going to watch that part again. So they're kind of shocked. They're like, well, wait a minute. You want to be a conductor on the Underground Railroad? We don't go in. We just operate stops, especially if you're a runaway slave, because you have a high risk. You get caught, you're in big trouble. She's like, no, I'm going to go down in there and bring people out now that I know about this. And they're like, and I love how she says, you're trying to scare me. I don't scare easy. This is one of the most courageous people you ever read about in your life. I just got to watch that part one more time.
Family is too. I realize that now. I want to be a conductor.
Harriet, conductors just move people along. They don't go in and bring them out, especially if they're a runaway slave. It's too dangerous.
You're trying to scare me, Mr. Steele, but I don't scare easy. I'm getting my family out.
All right, awesome. Harriet Tubman, born in Maryland as a slave, beaten, suffered severe head wound at 13. I believe the story is her master hit her with a rock, and it caused her headaches for the rest of her life. And in fact, she told a story of how she prayed for his death because of this. So she didn't have forgiveness in her heart, even though I believe she was a Christian at that time. So that's why she was praying. You can understand the reaction, though, right? And the guy actually died. So he ended up dying. And she felt horrible afterwards and said, you know what? Instead, what I should have done is I should have tried to lead him to Christ. That's a very interesting story. She escaped and then helped others escape. Her 13 rescue operations over 8 years freed at least 70 slaves, and some say 3,000 or 300. I'm sorry. It's very difficult to tell the numbers with this. Earning her the nickname Moses because she freed the people, didn't she? She also worked for the Union Army as a nurse, scout, and spy. It's amazing. I always told God, she said, I'm going to hold steady on you, and you've got to see me through. Harriet Tubman had strength. Harriet Tubman was brave and courageous. She carried a pistol with her. And you may think, oh, that's to ward off the slave catching dogs and the slave catchers themselves and stuff like that. Oh, yeah, maybe a little bit, yeah. She packed for that reason. But you know what else? The men, even, the slaves, the escaped slaves, would chicken out a lot of times. Because, she's going through swamps and all kinds of crazy stuff. People are peeing themselves. And they would want to quit and turn back. You know what she would do? She would pull out that little gun. She would put it in their back and she'd say, you turn around, I'm shooting you. You better go forward. She would not let them turn around and give up. She had a gun, and I think she would have used it. And that encouraged the people that chickened out to keep on going. Oh, man, how do you not want to meet a woman like Harriet Tubman when you get to heaven? And guess what? Good news. Now, some of you are going to complain. Some of you guys are going to complain, but this is amazing stuff right here. Amazing stuff right here. The $20 bill is soon going to have Harriet Tubman on it instead of Andrew Jackson. She'll be the first woman featured on, the cash paper money, I guess. And, of course, the first black person. I think you could probably not make a better choice than Harriet Tubman. And also, Andrew Jackson is by far the best person to remove from the $20 bill. So some people, trip out about it. But Andrew Jackson may have had his success as a general, but he is not a unifying figure. And the worst example of that is the Trail of Tears, which he's responsible for. And so I'm glad he's getting replaced, to be frank with you. And I'm glad Harriet Tubman is going on there. So that'll be nice.
You're now listening to Street Apologetics.